So you are thinking it's another G-Shock video, and you are correct. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to get away with this. I'm going to have to do this. Now, I know this is a little bit strange because I've mentioned Star Wars a few times, and I looked more at these watches, and I thought to myself, well, we've definitely got C-3PO here, and then we definitely have Darth Vader over here. And then I thought to myself, hang on, here we have Phasma. And if you've seen Star Wars and you recognize the female voice inside the silver stormtrooper type thing, you're going to see these colors. And I thought to myself, my goodness, I've got the MRG Captain Phasma here, and you know, it is a super watch anyway. And you know, once again, my interest in G-Shock has come out of the understanding form of function of wristwatches. And you know, quite often I'm running to, you know, go somewhere and grab a wristwatch, and more and more I am, you know, heading towards picking up the G-Shock, mainly for the reason that the time is going to be accurate, and so I don't have to wind it up. And of course it's got the stopwatch and timer function that I use all the time. I think I've mentioned in other videos I'm constantly measuring eggs, cooking eggs and meat, and also potatoes. If you're making boiled potatoes, I'm always setting the timer for potatoes. And so it's made me interested in you know, what else G-Shock does. And of course it made me recently want to experience the grey market, but also, you know, get my hands on this gold G-Shock Square. And I've had a bit of fun actually, you know, locating this, because you know, this is a new watch, but it's actually 4 years old, and it's literally been, you know, sat, you know, on the shelf for 4 years. So actually when I was in the process of getting my hands on it, it actually had the low reading on the display, indicating that the battery had gone flat, well, was going flat. And I think the grey market dealer knew that also, so left it out probably on a windowsill for a day or two, and it started to charge up. And now the indicator, when I connect it to the smartphone, it says it's half charged, and I keep leaving it in the window. And so that, you know, that was quite interesting actually. You know, and once again, I suppose it adds to G-Shock's claims about battery life, because you know, if this was 4 years old, you know, even 5 years old, and it still was operating quite fine, and you know, it had been in a box for 4 years at least, you know, doing nothing, you know, the battery was still fine. And I mean, all these have they're all solar powered, and you know, over the years I have noticed that you know, the battery is always full. You know, it never you know, seems to go flat. And so what I was doing is I was looking for other Star Wars characters, and I thought, you know, this thin red line here, I've got to find a character for this. And I thought to myself, you know, is it a Kylo Ren? And then I thought, you know, I'm looking for red accents and blue accents, and I didn't really find one that was identical to that. And I thought I must be able to find a character with black and red. And I did. I found Darth Maul, but I didn't notice any gold accents on him. So I thought to myself, I can't name this the Darth Maul. But I'm pretty sure there is a Star Wars character out there. Now, of course, you know, this is the Darth Vader, and you know, this dark black, you know, gloss and matte appeal, this stealth appeal, you know, this is definitely Darth Vader. In fact, this is the, you know, the diet Darth Vader, because the actual B5000 GD has the negative display, and so that's the full Darth Vader. But I'm sort of stealing that name and attaching it to this, because this is the B5000G head, which normally has the rubber strap, but I've put on the GD black bracelet because the colour match is the same. And yeah, I think it probably looks better, although I am a big fan of the rubber straps. And I actually bought the rubber strap for this, and actually it's just given me an idea. What I should do is actually put it on here and show you what it looks like wearing it, because it is totally cool. Now, the other thing someone might say is, hold on, Stephen, these watches, some of these watches, so for example these two here, they were originally, these are the 35th anniversary celebration release of G-Shock squares. So these are the full metals. Now, the one that I don't have here is the original that was released with these two, and it's the silver one that's a lot like this, but it doesn't have the thin red line. That is the Mandalorian, and if I had that here, I was going to find a picture of the Mandalorian and put him up. And I actually thought this might be the Mandalorian, but the red thin red line, took me towards Phasma. And so when you see a picture of Captain Phasma, you're going to think, oh gosh, that is the Captain Phasma. And this G-Shock here is probably the one that is most usable, because of its silver appearance. And you can wear it with a shirt or a suit jacket. In fact, you can wear these with anything. But some people think that the gold is too loud and the black is too black and sporty. But I actually don't care. I absolutely wear anything. And in the past I've worn frogmen to meetings. The colourful G-Shock frogmans, and they are big and chunky, and they're quite they have a big presence on the wrist, and I've worn those in meetings, and maybe that wasn't a good thing to do, but I did it anyway. But yeah, so some people might say, hold on, Stephen, this is 4 years old here. You're showing videos of watches that have been out a while. And, the MRG is the, that's been out a year now, I think. And, I mean, the MRG really is, we're at the top of the game here. And, if I was wanting to flex somewhere and I knew that there would be watch fans there, I am most probably going to pull out the MRG and wear that, thinking, this is cool. And but once again, I'm not trying to flex actually, or or do anything. It's just that I think it's a very good product, and the form and function, in particular the function, is the thing that I really like and use often. I keep saying I use the timer and stopwatch every time I cook almost, and so it is a very useful thing. But yes, these have been out for a while, and of course all these are well, 3 of them are for the they're celebrating the full metal that was released about 5 years ago now, but this is 2023, and we know that this is the 40th anniversary year. So this year I'm expecting some new versions of all of these squares. Now, will they update the movement? It is interesting that they might, but also what I am thinking they may do, and my opinion is probably centered around, I've been listening to lots of people, that they might release a new version of this that has a resin case here and a metal bezel there. I imagine that the inner case will be metal still, and they'll be offering metal and rubber bands, but this part here will be a metal bezel right there. So where this is matte, that will be metal. Where this is glossy, that will be resin. And so perhaps the bezel will be integrated into the body of the watch there, and this outer part that's in metal here will actually be resin. And I'm expecting them to do that, to offer that as a new model anyway. But what I think also they may do is update the display, and perhaps bring back the power reserve supply and the alarm notification. But also they may upgrade the screen to give a black and white display with even more contrast. And I forget the fancy names for these, but I am expecting some new G-Shocks this year. Now, you can bet your bottom dollar I am hoping to get hold of them, and I suppose this is one of the reasons why, you know, I've got this bad bunch of watches here, is because I'm sort of preparing it so I can compare it against the new 40th anniversary G-Shocks, and you know, it's just very, very interesting. Once again, I must say, you know, yeah, I'm becoming a real G-Shock fan here, even though I was a G-Shock fan before, because I'm looking at these watches always in the context of designing a wristwatch, and you know, and trying to understand what really works in the marketplace, you know, what people like, what, you know, what they want. You know, I'm always thinking, my goodness, Casio have really got, you know, a fabulous watch here, a very good product. You know, it's going to be hard to, you know, to think beyond the aesthetic and the functionality beyond a Casio G-Shock, because they are so good. But what I do find is that, you know, when you know, look at wristwatches, you know, if it's your hobby, you are spoilt for choice, because there are so many fabulous watches out there. And I meet people that, of course, like Rolex, and you know, they're as geeky as I am, and you know, they have a collection of Rolex, and the stories that they have behind them are fantastic. You know, so I can really appreciate that. And of course, Omega, and all the other, you know, well-known Swiss brands, and of course Seiko. I do find that the Seiko fans out there are pretty cool, and they're a little vicious as well. That they're so supportive of the Seiko brand and their products. And you know, I quite like it, meeting fans of products. You know, I've met people that that wear Richard Mille, you know, so they have a Richard Mille in their collection. And one of the interesting thing is they always seem to have a G-Shock as well. And you know, one guy I was chatting to explained that for security reasons he doesn't wear the G-Shock anymore because it's too risky. But the watch he wears instead is a Casio G-Shock. And I think it's the basic resin square like this, but the basic resin. And so, you know, if you see him one day, he's rocking an RM11, and the next day, you know, a G-Shock square. I think it's so cool. And I bet you he has a Seiko SKX. And you know, I've just said that, and I'm sure he does have an SKX as well. You know, so it's totally cool. But yeah, I mean, once again, you know, this silver one, and also the B5000D, the GMW, just the straightforward full metal, which is the silver version of this one that was originally released. You know, that is such a good watch, and you know, it doesn't have a red liner outside, and that watch is actually the Mandalorian. And so if I had that, I would have the Mandalorian, then I'd have the Phasma, then I'd have the 3CPO, then I'd have Darth Vader, and then I would need two characters for these two. Now, because they're both black and they've both got the thin red line, that's cool, but this one is predominantly gold, so I'm looking for a Star Wars character who has black, red and gold, and then this one it doesn't have gold, but it has blue. So a Star Wars character that is black, red and blue, that's this one here. A Star Wars character that is black, red and gold is definitely this one. This is Phasma, C3PO, Darth Vader, and the Mandalorian is the GMW version of this. And you know, maybe I'm crazy, but all I can see is is the Star Wars cast in watches at the moment, and I bet you I can find something similar in other brands, and at some point I will be coming across to other brands, but right now we seem to be with the Casio G-Force, and you know, it's a bit of fun, and you know, it's great for me to have a look at the form and function, and you know, it's just a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope this is interesting today, and I will come back soon. Hope everyone's well, and speak to you again.